What's up, everyone? I'm Mark Plesha with MoveToHighland.com, and tonight I'm sitting down with Phillip Scheeringa, town councilman who's running for re-election this year. We just want to sit down, get a little bit more background information on Phil, kind of walk us through what his goals are for if he gets elected, and what his role has been the past year and what that all looks like. So let's start here. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourselves and kind of catch everyone up to speed if they don't know who you are?
Sure. My name is Phillip Scheeringa. I've been raising my family here in Highland with my wife for the last 19 years. I grew up, I went to Highland Christian School, graduated from Indiana Christian School. Been super involved with the town since we've lived here. I have been a firefighter in Hammond for over 20 years. My wife has been a teacher for over 22 years amongst a couple different schools. And we just been involved in the town for a long time and with the kids and the community, and this is just taking it one step further.
Yeah. Speaking of involvement in the town, Highland Soccer, that's how Phil and I met pretty recently, actually, and then we found out my parents are good friends with your mom.
Yes.
And that's kind of how we started this whole dialogue. But
so it's kind of neat being in soccer and all that stuff, and finding that everybody's always kind of connected, especially in the town of Highland. Everybody knows somebody, right? So it's been really cool to see.
Yeah, I think that's what makes this place special. I think everyone, you just get out and you start talking to people and everyone knows each other, and somewhere down the line we all have some sort of association with each other, and I think that's what small towns are supposed to be. So
right.
It's
when
cool.
My dad passed away, I think your parents were there for my mom, and I think that's how they really formed their connection, which is awesome. Yeah. And I love it.
Yeah. So what motivated you to run for the position of town councilman?
So being involved with Little League over the years and Highland Soccer Club over the years, you just see things in the parks and in the community and seeing things happen, and you just want to see things continue to get better. My main focus in this community has always been the kids and the family aspect, and I love that about Highland. And I've always taught my kids, if you want to make a difference, you need to get involved. And I think this is taking it one step further. I think this is the final step, is to run for Highland Town Council. I can truly have a voice of everybody I've talked to over the years with Highland soccer and baseball, even relationships with the people I know involved with Highland softball and Pop Warner. And throughout the school system, my wife has a Girl Scout troop of 50-some girls, and things like that. It really influenced me to get more involved in the community.
Yeah, no, I can completely understand that, and you're right. You have a sense of belonging, and you have deep roots here, and you want to get involved and make change, whatever that might look like.
Right. My family's been invested in this community for many, many years. Not only, my parents, my dad went to Highland Christian and grew up here, but I got cousins who have the farm, and I have a family who owned Bill's Produce, which was in Highland a long time. They're now in Griffith, but just a lot of family and friends and close people I grew up with. I grew up with the Seamers, the Boonders from Boonder Electric. There's a lot of close ties in this town. So I think those things to be upheld and maintained to keep that family feel of the town.
Yeah, I always tell the story when I met my wife Liz.
Yeah.
Or actually tomorrow's our 11-year anniversary, but
congratulations.
I had no idea being Dutch was a thing until I met her. And
if you ain't Dutch,
you ain't much, right?
There you go.
Then I didn't know anything about that until I met her, and then Highland Christian, I didn't know that was like a Dutch thing. I just knew like those kids ended up at our middle school. Right. And then I didn't know Indiana was a thing, and then and then you start playing Dutch bingo now that I'm like stewed in this, and I'm like, oh man. So Scheeringa is almost like synonymous with Highland, it's to some degree, right. And you know that I am stewed in the Dutch because I just said Scheeringa, not
you pronounce the name correctly, right? So, and that's, I don't know, a lot of people call me Phil, right? And I don't know if you notice all my signs say Phillip. Mm-hmm. And that was something my dad raised me, and I want to make that a point that he named me Phillip from the Bible, and that's why I put that on there. He'd be upset with me if I didn't put Phillip on that sign. So now everybody knows why Coach Phil or Phil puts Phillip on his sign.
The
so there you go.
Comes out. I love that. Actually, that's awesome.
Yeah. This is a lot. My dad, big influence on me.
Yeah.
And getting involved with the community.
Yeah. No, that's cool. What do you see as the most pressing issues facing our town right now?
So there's a couple, right? But I'd say the biggest thing is redevelopment. Redevelopment in the town of Highland, some would say, has been stagnant. We actually just had something come in front of the council recently about combining our allocation areas to encourage redevelopment, so we have a bigger pot of money to entice investors. We didn't take action on that immediately because one thing, I wasn't involved earlier this year when they had some executive sessions, so I did not feel comfortable until I knew that information to support it, right?
Sure.
So after the meeting, I had a bunch of conversations with people, and I even had a conversation with Maria Becerra, who's in charge of redevelopment, and I got to learn a lot more about what's been going on, some stuff that's in negotiations that couldn't be talked about publicly in a meeting, right? So now those steps are going to be furthering along.
Okay.
So redevelopment, getting some action taken there. I mean, it's been how long since the town theater was torn down, and getting things happening over there. There's plans, beautiful plans that can happen over there. So we just got to encourage that, encourage our redevelopment to keep pushing along with that stuff. So that's a big issue. We have a large pot of money sitting there that needs to be used wisely. I think another issue I think we talked about previously when we spoke is police retention. It's very difficult to find police officers right now. Just the climate of society right now makes it difficult, but also other towns are enticing people to change and move from town to town because we'll give you this, we'll give you that. It makes it look greener on the other side, right? So we're finding ways to retain and keep those police officers here. They just passed a take-home car, so every police officer will be able to have a take-home car.
Okay, even if you're out of town?
Yes, even if you're out of town. That's a big difference, a big deal. A lot of towns and communities do that, and people are leaving for it.
Yeah.
So things like that.
So yeah, small things to just incentivize them, and yeah, sometimes it's just tiebreakers, right? In people's minds of, hey, I can go here and get this, but if I stay here, and now all of a sudden they're starting to equal out, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
No one wants to make a move.
No one ever really wants to move, right? And there are some police officers going to be retiring over the next year. So there is a hiring process going on. We're operating off a list. I'm currently liaison for the council to the police commission. And a few weeks ago, we did interview a few guys for to become a Highland police officer. Okay. You know, so that I think they're in a background check phase of that. So things are progressing along. So hopefully we have some new police officers here soon. Things like that. So
cool. And you mentioned redevelopment commission, and I was actually reading some minutes in preparation for this just to get an idea. And I read about some of the incentives being ran, just the facade improvements, and then there has to be like an equal amount of money invested into the facade to improve the aesthetics of the buildings versus putting some money in the inside.
Yeah, so they have like a grant program.
Sure.
So let's just say this is library, right? If they wanted to improve the facade, if they put in so much money, the town will match so much money up to a certain dollar amount. And it just helps the look. And that when you improve the look of current businesses, it attracts newer businesses to want to come to the location. Yeah. So, and it also increases property value. When you increase property value, it increases tax base for the town as well. So.
Yeah, and I wasn't going to go there yet, but that's a good, being in real estate and seeing the just crazy appreciation that we've seen over the past few years. I mean, crazy. 15% in Lake County in 2021, and then another 10% in 2022. And you're starting to see those assessments come up. They're not going to match that appreciation level dollar for dollar, but that is going to obviously impact income for the town. And are those things that are conversations that are starting, like, okay, we're going to have this inflow of money at some point, like how do we put that into use to, like you said, either beautify the downtown area, or we're just trying to draw residents in, keep residents here?
Well, I mean, I think we want to do all of the above, right? And to familiarize people, not all like tax money. So when you pay taxes, property taxes, that gets divided amongst many different entities. The township, the county, the schools, libraries, all that money gets divided amongst those. And it also depends where those properties are at. Like if they're in an allocation area, that kind of stays in that area, that money goes into the redevelopment pot. Now, residential homes, obviously that money then I believe does come to the town. But that also helps us retain employees, right? It's what's helping us give employees a 5% raise so we're not losing employees to other communities.
Yeah.
Hence the reason that's why we have a big disconnect within our schools, right? They're not able to give teachers big raises and we're losing them to other communities. So that hurts, right?
Right.
So, but yeah, so those are the things that we look for. But it's also wanting to beautify our parks and make sure our streets are paved and keep attracting people to stay in Highland as well.
Yeah, no, I like it. Yeah, do you think our Main Street or downtown area is healthy and successful? And if not, do you have ideas or plans to change that? Or what are your thoughts with Main Street?
Ooh, loaded question,
Highway
right?
Avenue.
Ooh, loaded question. We have some great businesses downtown Highland.
Sure.
Some staples that have been here for a long time. You have Langle's, Traditions. Sad to see it go in the fire. Hopefully they can rebuild. Apex has been a staple in Highland for a while. Les Brothers. You have some great businesses down there. Is there room for growth? 100%. The counter is booming.
Yeah.
I wish they were open year round because my son would want that PB&J Sunday that they make all year round. I guarantee it, he'd be there every day. But I think there is room for improvement. You have some vacant homes over there. I think our fire station needs some updating. I know to get up to current standards, I know there will be some things that'll have to be done there over the time, and that'll help beautify downtown, right? So we just got to find more creative ways to make sure we're drawing new small business down there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think I always hear the joke that we have 2 like reptile stores downtown Highland, and that's great. People like that stuff, but yeah, I think
it doesn't create all the foot traffic, right?
Right.
I mean, I think we want more foot traffic. So when you are maybe looking at a dress shop or a jewelry shop, let's go to Langle's for dinner.
Yeah.
Or I think Maria's is over there. You want something to draw those people to come use those businesses because we don't want to see those businesses leave. They're great businesses. But if we don't have the foot traffic down there, we're going to lose them, and that's the last thing we want to see.
Sure. Yeah, and I think a lot of people, especially recently in the past 5 years, point to what Griffith has going on with their downtown area and their markets and things like that. And
Right.
I think not necessarily copying that or making it our own, but essentially, do something similar to that, but make it our own, something that exemplifies what Highland is about. I think creative ideas like that would.
Yeah, but I mean that could easily be something changing some zoning ordinances or things that we would like to see, so those businesses are more attracted to Highland than to say go to Griffith or go to Munster. So those are things we'll have to look at. Like our sign regulations crazy, our facade regulations crazy, to where it's not cost effective for those people to move or to want to bring their business to Highland.
Sure.
So we just have to look at those things, and that's what it's going to take the whole council to work together as a team. No matter what party, what you believe, we got to work together as a team to get those things accomplished.
Yeah, and I think a lot of my idea for doing this is a little self-serving.
Right.
I don't have a great in-depth knowledge of how this all works, so I did kind of want to throw this together just to learn from you as well, like local politics and how all these ideas kind of run together. And just talking about a community and your deep roots here, and in terms of town council and like political parties and working bipartisan to get things done, in terms of local government, like what does that look like? Because you're not legislating, you're not writing laws, you're coming up with policy to achieve a common goal, right? So
100%.
It's not. I feel like it's very divisive right now between Republican and Democrat, maybe more so than any time in history, it seems like.
Very much so.
But at
Nationally.
the local level, nationally, and I think at the local level, it's typically not like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, or
No,
it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. And to be honest with you, I replaced Roger Scheeman back at the end of August. Roger Scheeman resigned from the council, and the Republican Party caucused me in to his position. And once he had left, I actually got a ton of compliments from both Democrats and Republicans on asking questions, wanting to know why we're doing something, what their thoughts were, even from Maria, from the chief of the fire department now, Mike Pipta, Ken Micah with planning and stuff like that. So you learn to work with those people, and me being Republican, I get along great with Toya Smith, who's a Democrat. I get along great with Bernie Zeman, Democrat. Mark Herrick has been doing well as a clerk treasurer, has helped me getting me information when I have an issue. I want to know something about public works or why we're spending money here. He gives me the answer, and that's working together. And they're opposite party, but I love working with Mark Shockey, who's not rerunning. Tom Black, he's council president right now. Having communication with those gentlemen and lady with Toya, it's been good.
Yeah.
Working together for common goals, even though we're not the same party. And that party shouldn't matter once we're up there. It's about the town of Highland and our community.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, and I'm happy you said that. And I'm happy you're, just furthering my insight into what I thought was taking place, and I appreciate that. We kind of hit on community and the importance of that and maintaining that. Do you have any initiatives in mind of just to continue to further and foster a strong sense of community spirit?
I've had a few big ones. So we had the big deal earlier this spring with the school referendum, which
Sure.
which is a hot topic. But I also told a few of the school board members and the superintendent of Highland Schools that I would love to see Highland Schools get more involved in the town. I said I would love to see the homecoming parade be back through downtown Highland and finish at Main Square. Get more involved in the community with the schools, and that way Friday night lights, at football games is even crazier and more
Sure.
fun, and you get the town there even though they don't have kids that go to school, but they just want to be part of that community feel. So I think if we can have a more correlated effort with those community events with the schools, I think that's going to be huge. I think our parks department does a great job with our local sporting groups. Kudos to Alex Brown and Trevor Kinley for always being supportive of Highland Soccer and Highland Little League and always trying to do what they can to help those private organizations out. Even though they're non-for-profit, and the parks is always making sure the grass is cut for soccer, or garbage is picked up for the weekends and bathrooms are clean, so we have great events for the community. So we still have a long way to go, and we never stop striving to get better and get more involved with the community, but I think we're doing a great job there.
Yeah, good. And then last question, what do you think sets you apart from your counterpart in this election? And what makes you the obvious choice for this position?
Well, I think what sets me apart is that I've been a part of this community for a long time. I've been involved in this community for a long time. I just didn't move here. I've been here a long time. My family's vested here. I'm raising my family here. I think when you're a part of a community and you've been a part of a community, you know what's going on in the town and you know the people. If you just moved here, I don't think you do know those things yet. So I think that's what sets me apart. I love this community, I'm a part of it, and I'm raising my family here, and I want my family to stay here. I want to see my kids want to come back here when they're older and done with college. I want them to come back here and raise their families here, like you, right? You were born and raised here, and you stayed here, and you're raising your family here. I want my kids to do the same.
Yeah.
So that's what I think sets me apart.
Okay, great. I love it. All right, Phil. Well, thank you for your time. We appreciate it for sure. Do you have any last parting things you want to mention or talk about, or where can people find more information about you and your...
So I have my Facebook page, Committee to Elect Phillip Scheeringa. That's a great spot to look. You can private message me on Facebook if you got questions, or come see me at a soccer field on Saturdays. I'm always at Shepherd on Saturday. The family and the community always come first. So I'm always around. Reach out to me anytime. But also voting is early voting is currently going on. There's many locations. The closest is Wicker Park. Great location if you want to early vote. I also have those dates and times posted on my Facebook page. And also Election Day is November 7th.
All right. Well,
Hope to earn everyone's support.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. We'll go ahead and share everything to your page, and we'll make sure all those dates are on our page so that people can find that easily. And yeah, like I said, I appreciate your time, Phil.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Thank you.